Several familiar faces will be appearing alongside him, most prominently Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but also his fellow X-Men Colossus and Negasonic teenage Warhead, both returning from Deadpool's previous films. However, there are still many unknown details about Deadpool 3, from its plot to its main villain. As such, there's still room for plenty of as-of-yet-unannounced characters from the X-Men franchise to make an appearance in the film. Here are just a few mighty Marvel mutants who'd be a perfect fit for Deadpool 3.
The time-traveling cyborg soldier Cable is perhaps the most obvious candidate for another past Deadpool cast member to return in the next film. Cable starts out as a foe of Deadpool before eventually becoming a staunch ally to him. That alone would make him a natural pick to return in the next film, but what really puts him above the competition is his status as a time traveler. Speaking of returning characters from Deadpool 2, another hero introduced in that film is Domino. Domino's luck powers ensure that she's the only member besides Deadpool himself who survives the team's disastrous debut. She's still on good terms with Deadpool by the film's end, so it'd make sense to see them team up again in his next film. Not many people saw the most recent film in the X-Men franchise, 2020's The New Mutants, and of those who did, even fewer enjoyed it. Even so, if there's one thing the film got right, it's the inspired casting of Anya Taylor-Joy as Illyana Rasputin, aka the sword-wielding sorceress Magik. For years now, Magik has been a massive fan favorite among X-Men devotees, so while her film debut may not have been the best first impression, Taylor-Joy nevertheless deserves a second chance at the role in the MCU. As for why Deadpool 3 is the ideal movie to reintroduce her, it all comes down to one character, Colossus. In the comics, Illyana is the younger sister of Pyotr Rasputin, better known as Colossus, who became trapped in the hellish dimension of Limbo during one of the X-Men's many adventures. When she returned home, Illyana became the mystical mutant hero Magik, using her newfound skill with sorcery, as well her mutant power to open portals. Since then, she's served on the X-Men alongside her older brother, but the New Mutants movie never once acknowledges their familial connection. With Colossus returning in Deadpool 3, there's a perfect opportunity for him to finally share the screen with Magik. The sword-wielding psychic Psylocke made her film debut in 2016's X-Men Apocalypse, in which she was played by Olivia Munn, though one would be forgiven for not remembering it. Despite being a prominent hero in the comics, Psylocke was reduced to a minor antagonist in Apocalypse, receiving little in the way of backstory or personality. However, Deadpool 3 presents a potential opportunity to give the character a more faithful adaptation. Deadpool and Psylocke don't have especially close ties in the comics, which makes her one of the less likely characters on this list to appear in the film. However, she was Deadpool's teammate on X-Force for a while. And more importantly, if the story of Deadpool 3 will indeed involve multiversal travel, then she'd be a surprisingly natural fit. As previously mentioned, the main antagonist of Deadpool 3 has not yet been revealed. However, there's arguably no better villain for the part than Nathaniel Essex, also known as Mr. Sinister. While this scheming, narcissistic mad scientist is more of an overall X-Men villain than a Deadpool foe, the name of the Essex House for Mutant Rehabilitation in Deadpool 2 implies that the events of that film were a result of his malevolent machinations. Apocalypse and the New Mutants likewise foreshadowed his presence, but Sinister never actually appeared in the flesh. Sinister's flamboyant, irreverent personality would make him a brilliant foil to Deadpool, showing what would happen if the Merc with a mouth traded his moral code for a ruthless ambition. Additionally, with the recent Sins of Sinister storyline from the comics centering around Essex meddling with time, in order to create a reality where he rules over all, he'd be a perfect antagonist for a multiverse story as well.